I interviewed a coworker in regards to a conflict that she's had or is having with another person, and how it felt to actively listen. I feel like it's something that I do in my line of work every day, but to be specifically focused on actively listening. I noticed that there were internally that there were a handful of times that I thought that I wanted to check in about this and check in about that and make a comment about different things that were being said, but maintained the active listening, eye contact, confirming that I understood as she was going on. So it was a good it was a good thing to practice to kind of remind myself of how important it is to actively listen to make sure that you're getting the point that they're making, because you can jump to conclusions if you're not letting them finish their thought, finish their story, their sentence, to get what they actually mean by what they're saying. And I chose the questions that I did, and I found myself um, taking on more of like a counselor role, as far as asking, is there a dog policy in place, trying to kind of problem solve with her, as it's an active conflict. It's something that she is going through right now, and just trying to ask clarifying questions, follow up questions, but more in a sense of a better understanding for myself and kind of to help her um, navigate how and what the best route to deal with the situation is. The dog policy, checking with the supervisor, is this a new situation, are all, I would say, probably standard things that you would check in with an employee about, as far as a supervisor role, um, to kind of resolve things that are in black and white that can't be disputed. And then, as far as asking the last question about whether or not the consideration would be more prioritized if a resident was stated that they were afraid of dogs coming into work, would that take priority? Because working in a group home for adults with mental illness, the reason why people are working here is because of the residents that live here. And if they have concern, um, that that should be considered a top priority. And just trying to get a feel from of her perspective, or what her perception of her employer's response would be to whether or not the resident's statement would be considered or not. So it was really just I felt that they were effective. I felt like it was part of a um, how we're going to problem solve, and kind of weeding out different options and different perspectives of the situation. So overall, I felt like it was a good activity to go through and to really to hone in on listening, paying attention, picking up the little details, the little things that it sounded like may have been frustrating for her, and kind of trying to figure out um, how to tease those things out to get to the bottom of the issue.